ChatGerry Obesity and Type 2 Diabetes Management through Lifestyle Control using VPT Model, number 1518, VPT 075, January 31, 2026. Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation. Category: Obesity and Diabetes. Preface: in 2019, I met Professor Dr. Thanthanaye Aye from Yangon, Myanmar, at a diabetes conference in Sydney, Australia. She later served as chairwoman of the Myanmar Association of Diabetes and invited me to Yangon twice to lecture on diabetes management. Recently, she contacted me again and asked for my lecture notes describing how I personally managed and reversed my obesity and type 2 diabetes over the past 17 years, from 2010 through 2026. That request prompted me to revisit this topic and update it using my Viscoplastopology VPT research framework. My medical background: I came to the US at age 20 weighing 145 pounds with a BMI of 21.4. By age 35, my weight had increased to 170 pounds, placing me in the overweight range. In 1995, at age 48, I fainted at Hong Kong airport and was later diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My glucose level at diagnosis was 350 milligrams DL. Such a high value does not appear overnight. I estimate that my diabetes likely began several years earlier, around 1991. At that time, routine glucose testing was uncommon, and early diabetes often went undetected. The lack of data before 1995 reflects the limits of medical screening at that time, not the absence of disease. During the 1990s, I was deeply involved in Silicon Valley entrepreneurship. The stress was intense. I suffered multiple cardiovascular episodes but did not understand the connection among obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. My professional training was in mathematics, physics, engineering, and business. Medicine was completely outside my world. By 2010, after nearly 20 years of diabetes managed mainly with medication, I developed kidney failure signs, severe neuropathy approaching toe amputation, and diabetic retinopathy approaching blindness. At that moment, I realized a painful truth: medication can change glucose numbers, but it cannot repair organ damage. No one had explained this to me before. I understood that without lifestyle change, my remaining lifespan could be as short as 5 to 10 years. I decided that I did not want to die early. I wanted time to live, to contribute, and to finish my life meaningfully. My data-driven path: starting in 2010, I began teaching myself internal medicine, beginning with diabetes and expanding to heart, kidney, nerve, and other chronic diseases. I read thousands of medical papers without mentors, institutions, or formal medical education. This was a lonely and difficult path, but it was necessary. At the same time, I began collecting my own data. I tracked glucose, food intake, body weight, walking steps, sleep, and blood pressure with CGM technology. I collected 96 glucose data points per day, from 20 to 24 daily blood pressure measurements. I derived pulse pressure PP, mean arterial pressure map, and systolic BP spike amplitude from 3 basic biomarkers of SBP, DBP, and HR. After my stroke in June 2025, I collected more than 24,000 blood pressure-related data points within 6 months to monitor my vascular stiffness and blood flow delivery to vital organs, including the brain. To date, I have accumulated over 4 million personal data points. Most medical research relies on sparse measurements taken at clinic visits, like camera snapshots. My dataset is longitudinal and continuous, more like watching a movie. This allows direct observation of disease progression, reversal, and long-term system behavior. What the VMT and TDA results show: using the Viscoplastopology VPT and viscoplastic medicine theory VMT models, I analyzed my obesity and type 2 diabetes as system-level problems. For obesity, using BMI as the output, food portion size contributed 67% of total metabolic stress energy, while walking steps contributed 33%. For diabetes, using average glucose as the output, carbohydrate and sugar intake contributed 70%, while walking steps contributed 30%. The pivot years of improvement were early, around 2013 to 2014. After that, maintaining the same habits was enough to sustain stable weight and glucose control for more than a decade. Topological data analysis TDA showed the same structure visually. Obesity and diabetes form similar geometric patterns. Food intake variables dominate. Physical activity stabilizes but does not lead. These findings from TDA are highly compatible with The VMT results. Conclusion: obesity and type 2 diabetes are not medication problems, they are lifestyle-driven system problems. Long-term control does not come from short-term fixes. It comes from sustained reduction in food portion size and carbohydrate sugar intake. Supported by consistent physical activity, exercise helps. But it cannot compensate for excessive food intake. Disclaimer: I write this paper not for fame, but to share what I have learned so others can understand health, prevent disease, and live longer, healthier lives. This content is provided for educational reference only and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights belong to the author, Gerald C. HSU. This content is provided for educational reference only and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights for this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C. Hsu.